Okay guys, so I'm gonna go ahead and explain to you a little bit about this Metra wiring harness and with the programming box and a little bit how it works, because I was a little confused at first. So basically this is the wiring harness going to the aftermarket radio, and basically what's happening here is this is gonna hook up to the car, to the main radio harness, and then basically what happens is the signals are going to travel, the voltage is going to come out to the aftermarket radio, the audio signals are going to flow into the box and get processed in the box and then back into the main radio harness, so you guys get an understanding of this. Now this circuit board and the relay, that's for climate control and some other stuff. You don't have to worry about that. This small plug here is for the steering wheel control module, which you don't attach right away. You're gonna wait first, and you don't have to worry about the harness that the module comes with. This harness is pre-wired into the main harness, the 3018 and everything like that. So this is my backup camera RCA that I wired. I just pre-wired it just to have it ready to go. And if you want to retain your auxiliary input for the car, then you hook this up to the aftermarket aux-in of the radio. So that way your headphone jack and your center console will work. They say if you have the headphone jack with the USB, that this isn't going to work, that you can't retain anything. So that's a little bit or pretty much everything about it. Oh wait, this harness right here, this is if you have an analog or digital system. So for the analog systems, you need it. I was surprised too. I would guess that the higher voltage would be analog and the lower voltage would be digital, but no, it's not that way. So yeah, I need that harness. If not, then you just take away that harness. If you check my other video, I showed you guys how to check whether you have an amplified or non-amplified analog or digital system. So you guys could go ahead and reference that video before you get into wiring this up. Oh, just to show you guys, so regarding the steering wheel module, you could see that it plugs up into my factory radio wiring harness. It features this. Now if you don't have this headphone jack, the kit of the steering wheel controller comes with that jack that you can attach, which some of these have the wiring, which this one has the wiring too, but I just went ahead with this option right there because it's just plug and play and that's it. So I just wanted to tell you guys a little bit about that. So these were the antennas I got, guys, to basically convert the factory antenna to the aftermarket antenna. I wasn't sure which one was gonna work or not, so I ordered this one by Bingfu and this other one by Antenna Works. It says that it fits European cars, but they're saying that this is the one. I've seen people on forums say that. Roughly between $10 to $15. I'm not sure which one costs which. I'll go ahead and check, but this one is the shorter one, and the one by Auto Antenna Works, well, it's by Metra. Yeah, Metra Antenna Works. Okay. Yeah, so this one is the longer one, so I guess go with whatever you're comfortable with. They're both the same. The connectors are the same that I'm seeing. It's just that, I don't know, there's no consistency across the board that I'm realizing, or at least, in my eyes. But everything looks a little different and says they support different things, but end up being some of the same connections. And yeah, so that's it for now. I'm gonna go ahead and hook it up in the car and see the results that I get. Okay guys, so here we are. As you can see, I got the head unit working and it's installing XM radio. So basically, I'm just testing everything. I didn't tear up the dash piece like the instructions was telling me to, because I wanted to make sure everything was working, of course. So basically what you're gonna do is you're gonna connect the climate control like this. You're gonna make sure that the car is off completely. Connect the climate control, get into the car, make sure that the wiring harness is connected to the aftermarket radio, but not to the main harness yet. You're You're gonna make sure everything is closed, hood, trunk, doors, everything. I made sure one window was wound down just in case of a short circuit or anything. I didn't, I don't know. Didn't want to get stuck in my car or anything crazy like that. So I went ahead and turned on the car once all the doors and everything were locked. Once the car was running, I did like they said. I connected the harness with the box connected. Of course, everything's connected to the box, and I have an analog Bose system, so I have the Molex extension resistor cable connected. So while the car is running, I connected the main harness, and just like they said, it took a while before the radio turned on, maybe about like 10 seconds, but everything started working. At first I didn't think it was working, then the radio turned on, then I watched the LEDs, which you can see. You can't see it now, but the LED will pop up right here. You'll see it shining through this hole right here. And it'll go through its process. It'll, what did it do? It went green, and then it went red, stayed solid red, and then the radio turned on and off a bunch of times, and then eventually it stayed off for a little bit, then it came back on. And then I did what they said. I turned the key and turned everything off. What did they say? I opened the door and closed it. And then once I waited for the dome light to go out, I unplugged the climate control for 5 seconds. Then I plugged it back in. And then I went ahead and turned everything on, and everything worked. And that was it, guys. It was as easy as that. Just follow the instructions, and more importantly, just find out whether you have an amplified, non-amplified, digital or analog system in your car. When I spoke to Metro, they said that these Cadillacs have analog and digital amplifiers and non-amplified systems. So it all depends on what your car came with. You really have to check, because you can't assume that you know just by seeing you have a Bose system or knowing you have a Bose amp, because these amps come in both variations. So that's about it, guys. I'm gonna do the next step. I'm gonna go ahead and now disconnect the climate control. I'm gonna go tear up this dash, and after I do that, then I'm gonna come back in and run the rest of the wires. I might do a little bit of both in between, but once I'm a little further on, I'll go ahead and check back in with you guys. Okay, guys, so I went ahead and followed the instructions, removed all the controls, and I used this cutter right here so you could see which disc, and a Dremel to cut the part that they said to cut. And what you're looking at now are all the screws that you do not want to remove. Basically, you want to remove all the inner screws, basically. And there were 4 screws in the middle that are smaller, that are tiny, and those basically go here, just there, here, these 4 in the middle right there. And then so you can see all the other screws I gotta go put back. But so I'm gonna do that and see you at the next step. Hey guys, so here we are. Everything's all put together, and I'm gonna go ahead and basically give you my little review and my experience and what had to be done. So just to start off, I'm just gonna say that it wasn't just a walk in the park putting the dash together for whatever reason. And if you can see, this is the Untitled S8. So I don't know if you can see that. There's like a little gap, but I've brought it as close as I could, and there's no way to really, angle it down. So it's not bad, but, I had to kind of, I don't know what you want to say, finagle it. So I had to, do what I had to do to make it work, and you probably will have to do the same thing too. I've seen some people get it perfectly fit in the bezel, and that's great, but mine has like a little angle there. So I basically ran the GPS, you know, under the glove box, like you can, under there, you know, there's a place where you can tuck it, and then run it up the side, up the pillar. And I'll make another video on how to take off this, you know, pillar right here. But yeah, you run it up the pillar, and then, you know, you can see the GPS, right? It's, you can't really see it. Let me see. Yeah, it's right there behind the rear view mirror. And in front of the rear view mirror, you can see I put the microphone right there. You know, so all those wires are running across and down, and then, you know, underneath, and then, yeah, and then up into the radio. And so basically I ran the Wi-Fi. The Wi-Fi wasn't that long of a wire, so what I did was I ran it along the side, and then I stuck it here, and it ends up working out pretty good here. You know, the console closes and you've got Wi-Fi in the center of the car. And I have a Orbi router by my window, so I get, you know, what good Wi-Fi while I'm in my car from my house. So yeah, I'll leave links in the description down below where you can purchase all these products, so that way you have good reception and everything like that, and have exactly what I use. What else? I mean, I like the setup of the S8. The S8 is great. Apple CarPlay works. You know, all you gotta do is just plug it in, hit CarLink right there. And once you hit CarLink, that's it. Everything automatically sets up. You might have to enter your little pin for the radio, and that's it. Overall, the sound quality is amazing. At first, it sounded a little different to me, but now I'm just completely satisfied. I don't have any complaints. Everything works. Navigation, I prefer using Apple CarPlay, and, you know, with the navigation and everything, because it syncs flawlessly and I don't have to connect it to my hotspot. I could just connect and go right away. So the next thing that I'm gonna do is wire up the backup cameras. I'm gonna have to pop the back off again, because there were a few things that I didn't know, which is you don't have to use the brake light wire, you know, as a trigger to turn on the camera. You can actually hook up the camera in here to the accessory wire and always have it on. And so that way, you know, you can always view your cameras. In here they have it, you know, F-cam and R-cam. You can view your front and rear camera, no problem, while it's live. So I got a front camera, I got a rear camera. I'm gonna put those in. I'm gonna show you guys how to route those as well in another video, and how I did it. And yeah, guys, so, you know, overall I would say go for it. You know, I prefer this over, because they have the other radio that is like the whole screen. You know, you lose your climate control and you just have a whole screen here, the Tesla screen, and I believe it's by Phoenix. And I'm not knocking it, I'm not saying it's not good. Just for me, what I like to have my original climate controls. God forbid whatever happens to this radio, I still have my climate controls. Whereas I could imagine if that whole screen fails, if you have it all as one screen and your climate controls in your screen, I'm guessing if that fails, you've got to rush out and get another screen or get that screen fixed. You're gonna have problems on your hand. Whereas if this fails, I could just drop another $200, connect it, or do whatever I gotta do. It won't be that devastating and a big loss if anything ever happened. So yeah, I want to thank you guys for tuning in. If you have any questions, comment down below. I might have forgotten a couple things, but other than that, oh, I will say, fiber optic wiring. I did make a fiber optic ceiling for some reason, and this is with the OEM radio and this radio. When the fiber optic ceiling is on, I get interference with the radio. So just so you guys are aware, don't depend on the radio. If you want radio in here, download iHeartRadio, because if you use Apple CarPlay, you will be able to access iHeartRadio, XM, all those apps that you have installed on your phone, as well as Pandora, and you can just stream it, no problem. Like, it's amazing, and you don't have to wait to connect to your hotspot. Apple CarPlay is awesome. I'm sad to just be experiencing it now, but I'm glad that I am, and I just want to tell you, it's amazing. All the apps in your phone, all your radio apps, you don't have to depend on, you know, radio signals anymore. Just your Wi-Fi signal is good enough, your phone signal is good enough. Once you connect that Apple CarPlay, everything is going to show up on your display of what's basically in your phone, not what's on your phone. It's not a mirror. It just shows a different display of all the apps that are compatible with Apple CarPlay, which are all the radio apps and music apps, gratefully. And yeah, you can just begin just, you know, going through channels and everything like that, no problem. I don't want to push the Apple CarPlay button right now because I'm recording. Otherwise, I would show you that. Maybe I'll show you that in another video. I think that's what I'll do. So guys, yeah, thank you for tuning in. I know that was a long outro. Like, subscribe, comment, and until next time.